Hi there Pokefans, I am your humble host Fan and you're watching Pokemon Gym Challenges. So, welcome to this last episode in this series. As you see, we are about to face the champion. The first champion of this episode, because as you may have guessed, we are going to face two champions in this series. Or in this episode, not series. The second of the two champions we'll face after the credits. And we have already faced that specific champion earlier on and lost terribly because she outmatched us a great deal. But we are going to do that because I have a Pokemon which I believe is the best Pokemon that you can possibly have in terms of electric types, and I'm going to put that to the test. But first, let's go on with this battle against Alder, or Alder, however you pronounce that tree name. He starts out with a bug type, Excelgor, and I'm going to go with a Fluffy of course, and I'm going to use Fire Punch. That should do sufficient damage. I don't know what the Excelgor did over there, but he outsped. How on earth did I get a burn over there? Come on. Don't be ridiculous. How did I get the burn? Was that a Will-O-Wisp or something? Okay, so I'm going to use a full restore. Because what the hell is that burn all about? If I wasn't burned, Excelgor would have fainted in a single attack. I am 99.9% sure of that. Okay, another Bug Buzz. Holy crap, Bug Buzz does a lot of damage. Is Bug Buzz really that strong? Okay, so that takes care of Excelgor. And already I had to use a potion on my first Pokemon, like a Buffalant. By necessity I'll have to stay with Fluffy because he's the one with the Brick Break. Maybe I should have started with my Dragon type against Excelgor because of the fly. Okay, Buffalant takes out Fluffy in a single Earthquake, I think that was. Okay, let's go with Electros because he's immune to ground type attacks. I think let's try a Crush Claw or maybe a Wild Charge. Yeah, let's go for a Wild Charge. That gives me a stab boost, and it's basically the strongest attack I have. He goes for a physical Hyper Beam. I can't remember what that bad thing's name is. Okay, I'll do another. Okay, he goes for a full restore himself this time. Another Wild Charge, and I should be able to pull off a third one if I don't faint. Why isn't that doing that much damage? Okay, Buffalant is giving us a lot of trouble. He took us out again. But this time I think we do have somewhat of an advantage. I think Jolteon should be able to do this with his Thunderbolt. If he goes for another bloody potion, I would have had a heart attack over here. So we are 2 for 2. Even though his second Pokemon took out 2 of my Pokemon. Excavalier. That should be a bug and a steel type. Okay, Zekrom, you're up. This is why I should have started with Zekrom to start off with. Because for a bug and steel type like this, Fire Punch would have been awesome. As it is, I'll have to go with Fly, which is not that effective against the steel type, but it is super effective against the bug type. So that ought to do some damage at least, but not as much as I was hoping for. It only did about a fifth damage. How the hell does he do that much damage to me? Come on, really? Okay, let's go for a Fusion Bolt. That almost takes out Excavalier. So I should be able to take out Excavalier with a crunch over here now, and I do. Okay, he's going to send out Dradagon. Now, Zekrom ought to be the best to use against Dradagon, but I'm going to use Lantern, because Lantern should have a Ice type attack round about now. I'm specifically going for the Ice Beam, because that is one of the 2 attacks I have that is strong against Dragon types. If Dradagon takes me out in a single attack, I'll go with Electros. No, Electros is fainted. I'll have to go back to Zekrom and use his Dragon type attack. But at least 2 Ice Beams takes out Dradagon without him taking me out first, although he came damn close. And Lantern levels up to level 71. Volcarona is next. Volcarona is the Fire Moth. Stunfisk should be able to deal with that quite effectively. Muddy Water and Earth Power should be able to deal sufficient damage, and I have a Sludge Bomb on top of that, which is quite effective against bug types. I'm fairly sure about that. If it isn't, it should be. Okay, that does quite well against Volcarona. Another Muddy Water ought to do the trick. Luckily he just goes for setup moves. And luckily he didn't set up so much that he got 2 attacks in a single turn. Which ought to be a thing, I think. Vanillux. Where the hell is my bloody fighting type? Come on. Okay, Jolteon, you're up. Let's see if you can do anything useful. You're about the only Pokemon that hasn't taken too much damage. Okay, Thunderbolt I think should do a good amount of damage because of Stab. So I do just about a little bit less than half. Vanillux puts up a screen, so that gives me time to use a Revival Herb and get my Fluffy back, because I need him for this battle. It's quite surprising how many of my Pokemon need to have fighting type attacks to deal with Elder over here. I might not even need to use Fluffy, but I just revived him in case, and the Brick Break will do well against that screen that he put up. Okay, Fluffy, break that screen with Brick Break, and that ought to take out the Pokemon in its entirety as well. I broke the screen with Brick Break, and that should do double damage, and even if it didn't, it is still sufficient to take out Vanillux in a single attack. Fluffy grows to level 72. And Elder has been defeated. Nice. So now we go on to the Champion's Chamber, the one location we've been looking for this whole series. We could have ended it with N, but N didn't bring us over here, and this is where we need to be in order to end the game. This is always where we need to be to end the game. And there we have it, Fluffy. Electros. Oh yeah, so just for your information, I did it in the start, but here you can see the stats of the 3 starters that are available in this game. There are only 3 starters available if you want to specialize in electric type Pokemon. And there you have the stats, and this is why I use Jolteon, besides the fact that it is my favorite type. But here you have the Raichu line holding the Eviolite, and as a Pikachu holding the light ball. And then just below Jolteon there you have Raichu's actual stats. These other two are Pikachu stats. Anyway, these are the legendaries that you can have if you're doing a electric playthrough with only legendary Pokemon. These are the best legendary or mythical Pokemon that I could think of to use in any playthrough of the game. Now Zapdos would have been a very good legendary to use for my flying type instead of the one I did use, but I wanted to use Zekrom because it was the native legendary of this specific game. That is why I chose this specific game in any way. So this is going to, you can have a look at all of these Pokemon. They are going to pause just now so that I can show you the best possible team that I think is possible. And spoiler alert, the starter is going to be Jolteon because he is much stronger than any of the Pikachu line, in my opinion. Anyway, here is the best possible team in my opinion. You have Electivire over there, you have Lantern, Jolteon, Alolan Voltorb or Electrode, which is a grass type. You have Golem over there, and you have Magnezone, and the Golem over there is the Hisuian. Okay, Voltorb and Golem is the Hisuian version, and they are both electric types. I might be wrong on that. One of them is Hisuian and one of them is Alolan. I think that Jolteon or the Golem is probably Alolan. Leave a comment in the comment section below to correct me. Show me that I am completely mistaken. That would be greatly appreciated. And now we are going to go for who is the best possible Pokemon to use in an electric playthrough. Who do you think that would be? And this is him. And here we go. I'm going to show it by battling Cynthia over here. But this is the best possible Pokemon in my opinion, with the moveset Rest, Substitute, Thunderbolt and Soak. Here you see the moveset. And with this experience that I do over here, you will find that Substitute and Rest are not really very good because I never get to use them. But I do think that I do manage to show clearly what the point is of this moveset. And if you look at that moveset over there, I do have both a Thunder or Electric type attack, and I have a Water type attack, even though I only have one damage dealing attack. So I start off with Substitute just to get up something in order to outlast Cynthia a little bit, because as you saw throughout this whole playthrough, Lantern has the one big disadvantage in not having very much bulk, so it doesn't have staying power. So either you need a whole team with this moveset, or you need to find a way to get Lantern to stay there, because it is quite difficult to keep him on the battlefield. Okay, let's see if we still hit Spiritomb, even though he's done a lot of evasion tactics so far. I'm going to stay with Lantern because I'm trying to prove a point over here. Go for Soak again. It goes for Earthquake, but that should only break my Substitute. I managed to land the Soak, but is that sufficient? Now if I outspeed, I ought to do some damage. Okay, I don't outspeed, and this is where trouble starts. But at least I did manage to get the soak to land, which means that Garchomp can now be hit by electric-type attacks. Should I go with Jolteon, which is my fastest Pokemon? I think you do get the point though. Lantern with this moveset, even though it doesn't have staying power, is just about the strongest or the best electric-type Pokemon that you can have, because every single Pokemon that I have to face afterwards is vulnerable to electric-type attacks because of the move Soak. I wonder if there's any Pokemon that is immune to water-type attacks, and if that would have any difference. Or make any difference, not have any difference. I ought to learn to speak proper English. Okay, that did quite a lot of recoil damage. And I outspeed this time, at least. Oh, I didn't actually outspeed, he just did a move that didn't do any damage. Either he missed or that move didn't do any damage at all. Okay, Milotic is next. So any of my electric type Pokemon ought to be able to deal with Milotic. I think I should switch out. Okay, I didn't switch out. Let's see if Wild Charge is sufficient. Okay, Milotic goes for a Hydro Pump, which is quite a powerful water type attack. Wild Charge will probably take me out by myself as well. And I don't actually take out the Milotic, but I do quite a lot of damage to Milotic. Okay, Zekrom, I think you're up. Fusion Bolt should do quite well if Cynthia doesn't go with a revive or a full restore. And Milotic has little enough health left that the Fusion Bolt does its job. Milotic is one of the Pokemon with the highest bulk on Cynthia's team, I think. Lucario is next. Stunfisk should be able to deal with it with its Earth power because of Lucario's steel typing. But I think it will still take out Stunfisk quite easily. It goes for a close combat, which lowers its defense and special defense, which means my Earth power should do quite good damage. And it did less damage to me than I was expecting it would. That close combat, I mean. That is quite nice. But she now goes with Electros. What am I going to do? Okay, so Electros can't really hit me, but I can't hit Electros either. Okay, let's go for a max revive. Why am I... because of my electric absorb. That is what I am doing it for. Okay, let's see if the burn hits. At least the burn doesn't hit. Let's see if a poison hits for me. That did quite a good amount of damage. As you may have probably guessed, I'm angling for a clean switch in. The Lantern. Okay, this is the strategy. And it's coming back to the main strategy of the game. Soak, along with the Thunderbolt, ought to do the job for me. That changes Electros into a pure water type, and he did an electric type attack against me, but I have Thunder Absorb, or Volt Absorb actually. And then the second attack was my electric type attack, which took out Electros in a single attack. Okay, Braviary. I don't need to do Soak against Braviary because Braviary is a flying type, and Thunderbolt straight up should be sufficient to deal with it. I forgot to mention, I didn't put it on my moveset over here, but I changed Lantern's ability to Volt Absorb specifically to deal with electric type attacks. Gives it some staying power, like you saw over there against Electros. So this was a demonstration of Lantern with the best possible moveset in my opinion. Now I could switch out Rest and substitute for different moves, and I'll probably be more successful doing that. But this is what I have at the moment. Leave a comment in the comment section below to inform me about what the actual best moveset would be for Lantern using this specific strategy of Thunderbolt and Soak. Those two attacks may not go away, but I need something to use for my other two attacks in order to allow Lantern to have staying power. Anyway, this is going to be the end of this episode. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode and I hope you enjoyed the rest of your day. Thank you and goodbye.